Welcome to my English learning channel. I'm so happy to have you here. Today, we are going to Learn English through an exciting story about a time traveler. I hope you enjoy this amazing adventure while improving your English skills. So, sit back, relax, and let's begin the journey through time. He found a watch that could change history. The story of a time traveler. The first time Elias traveled through time, he was trying to fix a clock. Not just any clock. It was a strange silver pocket watch his grandfather had left behind after disappearing 30 years earlier. On the back were carved 3 words: "Time remembers everything." Elias had spent most of his life obsessed with that sentence. While other children played football, he filled notebooks with theories about wormholes, quantum echoes, and temporal mechanics. By 28, he was a lonely physicist, working in a tiny underground laboratory beneath the city of London. One stormy night, lightning struck the building above his lab. The power surged. Machines screamed. The pocket watch in Elias's hand began to glow blue. Then, the world disappeared. He woke up in the exact same room, except it wasn't his lab anymore. The walls were clean. The machines were missing. Sunlight poured through windows that did not exist in his time. Confused, Elias climbed upstairs and froze. Outside, the city looked younger. Cars from the 1980s rolled down the streets. Old advertisements covered the buildings. People wore clothes from another era. And standing across the street was a man Elias recognized instantly from photographs. His grandfather, alive. Elias followed him through crowded streets, heart pounding. He wanted answers. Why had he vanished? What was the watch? Was time travel real? But before Elias could approach him, a black car stopped nearby. 2 men stepped out. "Run!" his grandfather shouted. Gunfire exploded through the street. Elias ducked behind a newspaper stand as pedestrians screamed. His grandfather sprinted into an alley, throwing something metallic toward Elias before disappearing around the corner. The object rolled to Elias's feet. Another pocket watch. Suddenly, both watches vibrated together. The world bent like melting glass. Elias crashed onto the floor of his lab again, back in the present. But now he wasn't alone. A woman stood in the shadows, pointing a gun at him.
"You finally activated the watches,"
she said, coldly.
"Who are you?" "Someone trying to stop you from destroying time."
She introduced herself as Mira, an agent from the year 2147. According to her, Elias's grandfather had invented the first successful time machine. Governments fought wars over it. Entire timelines were erased. Millions died. "So my grandfather disappeared because he hid the technology," Mira interrupted. "And now you've restarted it." Elias looked down at the watches. Tiny gears moved by themselves. "They're not machines," Mira whispered. "They're keys." Before Elias could answer, alarms erupted across the lab. The air rippled violently. A dark crack opened in the center of the room, revealing flashes of different eras, burning cities, futuristic towers, ancient battlefields. Time itself was tearing apart. Mira grabbed Elias's arm. "There's only one way to stop this." "What?" "You must go back to the beginning." The next jump took them farther than ever before. Year, Ejo Sisith. They arrived in the middle of a snowy forest during World War II. Hidden beneath the ground was a secret research facility where Elias's grandfather, still a young scientist, had first discovered temporal energy. Inside the bunker, old machines hummed beside glowing blue crystals. Young grandfather looked up in horror as Elias entered. "You shouldn't exist yet," he whispered. "I know," Elias said, "but you have to destroy the experiment." The old scientist shook his head slowly. "If I destroy it, your future changes. You may never be born." Elias fell silent. For the first time, he understood the true cost of fixing time. Not everyone could be saved. Outside, sirens wailed. Soldiers approached the bunker. Mira handed Elias a detonator. "You choose," she said quietly. His hands trembled. Then he smiled sadly at the grandfather he had searched for his entire life. "Thank you," Elias whispered, and he pressed the button. The explosion swallowed the bunker in white light. Time folded inward. The watches shattered, and everything went dark. Elias opened his eyes to sunlight and birdsong. He was lying in a small park bench in modern-day London. No destroyed timelines, no glowing watches, no secret agents, just ordinary life. Confused, he searched his pockets, empty. Then he noticed an old man feeding pigeons nearby. The man looked familiar, very familiar. Their eyes met. The old man smiled gently and tapped the side of his head as if sharing a secret. Then he stood up and walked away into the crowd before Elias could speak. On the bench where he had been sitting, Elias found a tiny silver engraving. "Time remembers everything."